All right, today's Sunday, February 20th, 2022. Putting some work out here on a Sunday. Been prepping this motor here. Actually, my buddy cleaned it up yesterday while he was here with some, it's an LS motor. I'm not sure what it came out of, but he's going to put this in a 68 Impala fastback. He's already got the front end accessory drive. He's got the headers, and I believe an oil pan. Pretty much everything needed to do the conversion. So I wanted to go ahead and get this painted for him. What we did yesterday was over the course of a few days at his house, he cleaned this thing up pretty good. I imagine he probably put about 8 hours in it, wire wheeling and degreasing and everything that goes with that. And then yesterday I brought it over here and he cleaned it again with a red Scotch-Brite and just Dawn dish soap. Got in all the nooks and crannies and spent about 2 hours doing that. And then we went over it with the SPI waterborne wax and grease remover. Liberally hosed it on, cleaned it up, and then what I'm going to do now is mask off these the valves and spark plug wires, and I think I'm just going to leave the oil pan on for now. I'm going to go ahead and paint it with the pan on, and then swap out the pan when the time comes. So I'm not too worried about the oil pan, but we're going to plug up the water pump and the intake. I tape that off right now, and then I'm going to be spraying this in some gray epoxy. Let it sit overnight, come back tomorrow, and base and clear. We're going to go with a Chevy orange on this, and I believe the valve cover is going to be a matte black. And the front drive accessory is black also. So I'm going to kind of mix and match some stuff. The headers are ceramic. So it's going to be kind of part one of the video here when I spray the epoxy. So let me get this thing masked off, and then I'll bring you guys back once I'm mixing the epoxy. All right, here we are about an hour later. I got the motor masked up here. Got the crank taped off a little bit so we don't get too much buildup on that. Got the exhaust masked off. Got the knock sensor hanging up here with my little contraption that I always do. We got the valve covers over here. I couldn't figure out how to get that oil filler off, so I didn't want to break it, so I just taped it off. It was giving me a little bit of trouble there. So all we're doing today is just we're gonna epoxy this. I'm gonna be using this SPI white epoxy. Pretty caked up on the bottom, needs to be stirred up. It's been sitting for a while. I think actually it's been sitting since we painted that blue Lincoln two-door. We use it as a sealer. So I don't think I'm going to reduce this because the main objective with the white is to have a good foundation for the orange to cover quick. I remember it's going to be the same orange that I painted a motor, like 3 or 4 years ago, and it didn't cover very good at all. So I wanted to go white, so white would be the easiest color to cover. And I don't think I'm going to reduce it because I got to get the block covered, because there ain't no way that orange is going to cover that black like that. So I'm going to go full strength. I was going to mix it in a little black and make it gray, but since we got so much white, I'm just going to go ahead and go full strength white. If it takes 2 coats, it takes 2 coats. So like I say previously, we scuffed this up with the red Scotch-Brite, soap and water, wax and grease remover. I taped it up. I just wax and greased it again, letting it sit while I stir this up here. There we go, it's starting to break up now. I'm going to be spraying this with my trusty DeVille epoxy gun. About 20 psi, 2.5 turns on the fluid, something like that. Whatever feels good. Sunday, hope you guys enjoying your Sunday. We're out here getting it done. Like I say, I'm doing this for my buddy. He's the one who's been coming over here helping on the 60 sheet metal work, so least I can do is return this favor here. So I'm just going to spray this. I'm going to turn my heater on overnight. It's not supposed to get below 60 tonight, which is ideal, but I'm going to run the space heater anyways. And then we come in tomorrow morning and just go straight to orange. Tomorrow's a holiday, it's President's Day, so it's a good day to paint. So let me bring you guys back once this thing is coated in the white epoxy. So here we are, first coat. And I must say, unreduced, it does cover pretty good. So it's been about 25 minutes. I'm gonna give it about 5 or 10 more minutes. Hit this with a second coat. So this is just straight white epoxy mixed 1-to-1 with the activator. Didn't worry too much about the oil pan or the oil filter. He didn't want to take it off, so we didn't take it off. So I'm just gonna hit this again, second coat. So far, no weird stuff on the motor itself. A little bit of contamination there. And we got something funky going on here with the valve cover, but I'm gonna hit it again. I mean, it acted like it acts when you go on too heavy, but it wasn't that, so it must just be dirty. I'm not sure. But it's just a valve cover, so that's no biggie. I'm just gonna hit it again. Hopefully it fills in these little divots or whatever it made, and then tomorrow I can knock them down before the paint. Overall, pretty good. So I'm gonna hit this thing one more time, bring you guys back. All right, so here we are. We're back, and I got it in 2 coats. Just pretty basic. White epoxy mixes 1-to-1. I mixed up 8 ounces for this total job. I had like half an ounce left, so I gauged that pretty good. Little reaction or whatever I had going on right here pretty much leveled out after the second coat. Don't know what it was, but that's why I like this epoxy, is you can always just put more on after it cures or after it flashes, and it usually fixes that. Same thing over here. So like I say, this is 2 coats. I wanted it a bright foundation for the Chevy orange that we're going to be doing tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to come in the morning. Right now it's about 4 o'clock, and it is 68 degrees in here with 67% humidity. and it feels good outside, believe it or not. Like, I know you guys are probably tripping over the 70% humidity, but that's actually pretty low for over here. So doing good. Front end looks great. That's the most important part. And it's kind of tricky because the activator, as it gets older, it starts turning like a dark brown. So whenever you mix that in the white, it kind of plays tricks on your eyes. And also the lighting in here and the reflection off the walls, it kind of looks kind of like a yellow tinge to it, but might have a little bit, but it's not going to be nothing for that orange. So tomorrow I'm going to come in, I'm going to go straight to base coat, not going to touch it. We ain't got to sand it, we ain't got to clean it, no wax and grease. Might tack it off, tack rag if I can find any around here. Gonna go straight to base. I'm thinking 3 coats of base. We'll see how that goes. I know on the other small block that I painted, it was a crate motor. It came black epoxy, and that took 5 coats of that orange, but this is white. So I'm thinking 3 coats. And then we got some cheap Shopline clear just to cap it off, local. So that's a wrap for today. Bring you guys back tomorrow once we get this thing in color, and then we'll wrap it up once we put the pulley accessory drive on it. Y'all stay tuned. All right, so we're back the next day. It is a toasty 77 degrees in here, 77% humidity. Feels pretty crappy outside. The little space heater did the job. Kept it nice and warm in here. These parts just been sitting where I left them, untouched. Did move this because I'm going to be spraying 2 different colors, so I wanted it closer to the exhaust fan. So for the valve covers, I'm going to be using this matte black Eastwood stuff. I used it on the rear end on my Ford 9-inch for the 60. So we're going to be using that. I got this old Shopline orange. I call it Chevy orange, but it's called Carousel red or Hugger orange. It's basically like Chevy engine orange, and some leftover high dollar reducer. The reducer is probably more than the paint, but that's what we got, leftover stuff. So I'm going to be spraying 2 different colors. gonna spray the Shopline with the IWATA 1.4 or 1.3, and the Eastwood stuff. I think I'm gonna use the DeVille Bisque because I remember spraying the rear end at the Eastwood stuff. It mixes 4-to-1, so it's a little thicker, and it seemed like it was kind of struggling with the one with the IWATA. So I'm gonna use the primer gun for that. And like I say, they're just valve covers, so if they don't come out good, it's real easy to redo them or figure something out, but pretty confident. So let me start mixing stuff up here, and I'm thinking spray the orange first. So bring you guys back. All right, so here we are, 2 coats later, maybe 2.5. First one I kind of just went into little cracks and crevices, and then 2 full coats around it. So covered surprisingly well for Shopline stuff. Of course it was over white, but it covered really good. Definitely orange. That's what he wanted. This was a lot of work to get this thing clean. No funky reactions, which is good. Epoxy really locks stuff down. I hit this with 2 coats of that matte black and kind of pushed them to the side. They're probably already dry. That stuff is really thick. I kind of think you might need a 1.8 to spray that, because at the 1.3 on the second coat, it was struggling. I had to up the PSI to get it out the gun. So I don't know what it calls for, honestly, but those are done. No clear on that. I'm gonna start mixing up this Shopline clear. This is JC 630. There's some cheap stuff. Got it local. And on the matte black, I mixed up 2.5 ounces. It mixes 4-to-1, so 2 ounces of black, 1/2 ounce of hardener. Had some left over. On the orange, I mixed up 8 ounces, and I had about 2 ounces left over. So on the clear, just gonna go 2 coats. It's gonna dry pretty quick. It's real thin stuff. It's warmed up a little bit. It's 81 degrees in here now. So I'm thinking, if I had to guess, probably 10 to 12 ounces of clear. So let me get this mixed up. I'll bring you guys back once it's cleared. All right, here we are. 2 coats of that JC 630 clear. Super thin clear, but the good thing is it dries fast. Pretty straightforward. I sprayed it with the 1.3 orange cap, which is usually my base gun, but I didn't want to dirty another gun. Sprayed about 25 PSI. And that's it. Pretty straightforward. Not too concerned with getting runs or anything like that, being that it's the motor, but there's no runs. Unfortunately, all this is going to be covered up with the pulley kit, but it's a wrap. And these are still sitting over here. So I think the next step is basically gonna let this thing sit a couple days or so, and then maybe this coming weekend we're gonna start putting it together. But little contraption worked. So hope you guys enjoyed this little segment here. Guess we'll bring you guys back once we start putting the accessories on. Y'all stay tuned. Playing with toys?
Playing with toys. Playing mechanics today.
Yeah. So
we already do that.
I know. So this thing has been curing since Monday, so it should be pretty good. We're gonna be putting this, assembling it. What do we got? Oil pan, drive pulley kit,
Oil pan, serpentine kit, headers.
headers. We painted the valve covers, and you got the intake.
Over there.
LS1 intake.
LS1 intake. Just needs to be wiped down, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, this needs to be wiped down in a little bit.
You know what? Or you loosen it off?
I did loosen them up.
So right now we're doing the oil pan. Why don't you use the impact? Got it right here.
You're gonna need the bigger one.
Oh, it's half inch drive?
Half-inch drive.
Oh, I got one. Actually, no, I didn't think. It's in the room next door. So first step, oil pan.
Oil pan. Hopefully I don't need no trimming.
So you say that with this one you don't have to trim?
From what I've read, if you buy the correct window tray, you don't have to do any trimming, but we'll see. Well, maybe I missed something.
Okay, because we had to trim on Bobby's.
Yeah, because they were trying to use the original stock one, right?
No, you bought an oil pan.
No. The stock
Oh, yes.
window tray. And I think that's when you gotta trim it, but these are meant for these, LS.
Low F body ones?
Yeah, exactly.
So you had a different oil pan, Bobby?
No, it's the same oil pan, but I bought this.
Oh, you bought that separate.
I bought this separate. This didn't come with that. Yeah, and that's the reason I bought it was because I was hearing that everybody was trying to reuse their original.
Now, how much that cost?
It wasn't much, man. It was like maybe $30, I think.
Shh, man,
On
I
Amazon?
gotta work at
And
least
it
4
just-
days for
It
that.
saves you a little bit of time, I think. So, well, we'll see.
$30. Man, I gotta work like 4 days for that, Bobby. Shh.
I say you don't well.
And you got a new oil pan gasket.
Yeah, the gas came with the actual
With the
oil
oil
pan.
pan.
All the hardware came with it as well.
These came with hardware.
Yours didn't, huh?
So
Yeah, we had to
this
clean
just
yours.
goes out to anybody, talking about buying brand name, highly expensive.
Where you,
Good old China,
eBay?
best friend China.
eBay?
Yes, eBay, and it was I forgot how much I paid for it, but it was probably
300?
no, it was less than that. It was half of what the Honda would have cost. It does pay off to get the correct window trim.
So far, yes. So you say you gotta put RTV right here where it's split on the block? On all four corners?
Yep.
So we're gonna be using this gray Permatex stuff. Now, on the 68, you have to swap oil pan? You already know that?
Yes, because
It wants to hit the front cross member?
yeah, all your suspension right there will start hitting this front of it.
Okay.
And so it's a lot shallower than
Than the stock one.
The stock one. It's made for brake bodies. Alright.
So we need to clean that up good, huh?
RTV.
Should we get some wax and grease remover?
For back here, you think? I think that stuff sticks to the bottom of it.
I'll get some wax and grease remover, man. Bring y'all back. So we got the oil pan on. That took a little bit of effort, but it fit for some Chinese stuff, huh? Then the headers are on. They're ceramic coated, right? So they're not going to tarnish or turn any colors. Intake is just sitting on there. So now we're going to do the pulley kit, serpentine kit.
Serpentine kit, yeah.
And that's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay.
I might reuse the same coil packs, might buy new ones, just depends.
Are they here?
No, I didn't bring them.
Okay. So really no tricks to putting the oil pan on. It kind of just went on, huh?
Yeah.
So here we are, we got everything sorted out. So we got harmonic balancer, main crank pulley, valve covers. You know how many amps this is?
160, I believe.
160. Power steering, reservoir, brand new crank bolt, water pump assembly, AC, tensioner, belt. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So what brand is this?
This is CBF, and they produce the serpentine kits for a lot of companies.
So they're the manufacturer.
They're the manufacturer. They manufacture the stuff. I bought my kit through Blueprint Engines, which they charged me a price, and they drop shipped it straight from them. I found out later on that if you go to the website, you can order straight from them at $100 cheaper
Then Blueprint.
than Blueprint. Yeah, so don't use Blueprint.
Don't go with Blueprint. Just go straight to the
I
manufacturer.
mean, Blueprint is a solid company as far as building engines and all that stuff, but come on, man. I mean, you're gonna charge me $100 and then drop ship it? It's just, if anything, they should have, been cheaper.
It's usually how it should work.
Yeah.
So these are the valve covers that I painted whenever I painted the motor here. So I guess we get started, huh? You say the first thing goes a water pump, right? That's the main, the main middle of it.
So the bracket has to be installed prior to
To the water pump?
the water pump. Yeah. So you basically you had to have this pulley off. The bracket slides on, and then you put the pulley on, and then you put the entire assembly together.
So the bracket goes on the block first,
No, the bracket, the water pump,
then the bracket,
then the bracket, then the pulley.
then the pulley,
Yeah.
just like you have.
So just like it is, yeah. So when you're putting it on, you're gonna slide these bolts in, and of course you're gonna have spacers in between the bracket and the water pump.
I see. Now this is powder coated? Do you know?
Anodized.
Anodized because it's aluminum.
Now some of these other pieces are powder coated, but the pulleys are actually anodized.
Yeah, because they're aluminum, they're real light.
Yeah. Same thing with this. This I think is just
That's just paint. All right, well this shouldn't take long.
The longest last time was turning this.
Yes, because we didn't have the right, well, we had to remove it. We didn't have the right tool to remove it. All right, so we'll bring you back once we get the water pump on.
How can I do this? I'm still like this. Okay, so Bobby,
Bobby's over there recording. We had two cameras going at the same time.
walking around, Bobby.
Oh, you need a spacer on it?
Yeah, this is gonna space the bracket from the actual water pump. Where's your
Torque wrench?
impact?
Oh. It already has the 3/8 on it. Are you supposed to torque this stuff?
I just want to stir them in.
I've changed about 10 water pumps. I ain't never started going down.
No?
Nope.
I don't think I've had it either. Oh. Like half turn past tight?
Yep.
Yep.
Sounds alright.
Yep. Where are these people based out of?
CBF?
Yeah.
I want to say they're out of Wisconsin, I think.
Wisconsin.
Do they make? I wonder if they make LT.
They do. They do. Let me see where it's
Damn, all I need is some money now.
But yeah, man, they have, man, if you go on their website, they have like pages and pages. They go small block, big block, Ford, LS, LT.
Yeah.
And you break it down into different packages. They got some really, really nice stuff. And it looks like they're the ones that are keeping that little kind of line.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Hmm.
Are we gonna do a tying down the, torque down the my adventure with that in the way?
Yeah, we should.
I think
So
so.
run out there just snug on there, just so that we can get an idea of what we gotta do.
So after that is what, the harmonic crank pulley?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's got to be torqued.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get it set up and bring it back. Man, so here we are. I didn't really do a whole lot of recording because this thing didn't exactly fall in place. Mainly because we didn't have any instructions. We kind of winged it, and there's a video on YouTube that we watched. But so far, everything's good. It's kind of mocked up right now. We got to go over everything, give it a once over, tighten it. We're going to throw the intake on there and bring you back once it's all buttoned up and looking good. But so far, it's looking good. Yeah, buddy.
On this card contains your SFI number 18 136.
That orange is glowing, man, you know?
I like it, yeah. It's like really, really nice, man. It's got a nice color. It's weird, I don't know. It's pop.
Cheapest paint on the shelf.
Hey.
All right, time to work.
Funny story though.
Yeah.
No, put it in.
All right, so here we are. We got the valve covers
From
on.
the story, I can always.
The intake is sitting on there. You say you're gonna get new coil packs?
Yes. I don't know. I still up in there, man. The coil packs that I have work perfectly fine. It's just they look a little ugly. They're the truck coil packs, and well, you know,
Yeah.
my looks.
So just to recap, man, if not to get into too much detail, but what were the headers? How much were the headers?
Like 250, I think.
250.
Yeah.
And you bought the intake,
Yes, the intake I got it at a good deal.
which was
400 shipped,
okay. So that's
and
650.
that came with the fuel rails, the fuel injectors, which most of the time they don't include that.
Okay, so 650. How much was a pulley kit?
The pulley kit is the one that really kind of hurt me a little more. That was 1,900 plus shipping, right? So let's say 2,000.
Okay, so 2650.
Mhm.
Oil pan
Oil pan was 200.
2850.
Yeah.
Motor
Can't say.
can't
Yeah,
say.
no,
Can't say. So about $3,000 plus you still got to do harness.
yes, the PSI harness is gonna run me about 650. And then I want get a paintless wiring harness for the entire car. It's gonna be 105.
I'll go American Auto Wire.
Or yeah, right.
Yeah, that's about five.
About five.
4 or 5.
About five.
Then a little bit hoses and.
Yeah, you still gotta get fuel lines, you know.
Gas tank. Got to modify the gas tank.
Gas tank,
Yes.
you gotta get a transmission cooler. That's at least another 1,000.
Other lines.
Thermostat housing. Spark plug wires.
Yes, it's far from over. You know, I'm thinking I'm gonna have about 5,000 to 6,000
In it,
once said and done.
which ain't bad.
No.
That's what I had in that small block in the 61. I had about 5, but it was well rebuilt, brand new pulley kit, brand new everything. It was $5,000. It was a small block.
Starter.
That starter.
Yeah.
oil
I
filter?
mean, I can use the existing stuff that I pulled off the motor, but I want to assure myself that I don't have to mess with something like that
You can do something
in
with
a year
that.
or two. You know?
I'm thinking that could be polished, man. That's aluminum. Polish that.
We got a polish.
We used some leftover paint. Not bad.
There's a little cover. There's a little cover.
What color?
There's a little. The old pen.
What?
Feels like
This? The window shirt?
the old pen.
The cover?
Oh.
Yes. You need it.
Yeah.
Oh, you gonna need that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
All right, so that's a wrap for now. This is going in the 68 fastback.
Yeah, black part.
The 68 is coming over here next weekend for some paint, some body work and a paint job eventually. So, and then this. Moving right along. What you gotta say, Bobby? You over there nursing?
Stressing me out. What are you doing? Yeah, going too fast.
This didn't exactly fall in place, man. I mean, you know, putting it together the second time, we could do it in like 15 minutes. But hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll bring you back whenever we get some more work in.